Hey there guys, so as you know, Andy Ruiz Jr. will take on Anthony Joshua as he tries to make his first defense of the unified heavyweight titles on December 7th in Saudi Arabia. But it has now emerged that Andy Ruiz Jr. seems keen to fight for his country of Mexico in the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. He said he would be honored to represent his country at the tournament. Now, WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman strongly disagrees with the idea of a professional boxer competing in the Olympic Games. This is what he had to say on the subject. The WBC strongly disagrees with the supporting of a professional boxer competing in the Olympics. It's something unacceptable that should not be accepted by fans and boxing experts in the world. Olympic amateur boxing is completely different. They are two different sports, and it is very dangerous. We cannot accept this. If any professional boxer, including champions or former champions, decide to participate in the next Olympic Games, they will have a sanction of at least 2 years in the WBC. So I mean, this is nothing new from Mauricio Sulaiman. He has before expressed his displeasure with professional boxers fighting at the Olympics and as amateurs, considering they are pro fighters. He has said that Andy Ruiz Jr. will receive a ban of 2 years if he is to fight in the Olympics. Now obviously Andy Ruiz Jr. is a unified heavyweight champion, and the one belt he does not hold is the WBC. So he has no ranking with the WBC anyway, because obviously if you are a champion with another governing body, then you lose the right to be ranked by other governing bodies. So ultimately Andy Ruiz Jr. is not even in the WBC rankings anyway. Obviously he would be stricken from the rankings if he were to lose to Anthony Joshua on December 7th, because obviously where he would no longer be champion, he would be able and free to be ranked by the WBC. But that would be stricken straight away if he were to go straight and fight in the Olympics for Mexico. Now obviously there has been a lot of controversy surrounding the idea of professional boxers being able to fight still in the amateur ranks, because obviously when they turn over to professional, they should no longer have the right to fight as an amateur. They have decided to start fighting in the pro game. And I mean, it used to be the fact that once you've done that, there is no way back. But now there seems to be a way back. And obviously in the amateurs, they are generally novices. The fighters in the amateurs don't necessarily have the same experience as, say, Andy Ruiz Jr., who is a world champion currently in the pro game. And he would be able to take all of that experience into the Olympic Games, where he would be fighting novices, people who aren't as experienced as him. So obviously that would be considered as an advantage, because obviously the amateur game and the pro game are two different sports, as Mauricio Sulaiman explained. In the amateurs, obviously the fight is fought over 4 rounds, so you have to win those 4 rounds and look impressive. So it's about getting as many shots away as you can and landing as many shots in the early rounds. You don't have to pace yourself as much as you would in a 12-round fight. Whereas obviously in the professionals, fighters will fight 4 rounds, move up to 6, then 8, maybe 10 and then 12. That's the way it goes. So obviously as a professional, a seasoned professional, they are used to fighting 12 rounds, not 4. Plus, in the amateurs, it's more about scoring points on your opponent, seeing how many times you can land, because it's about winning the rounds, not necessarily about going for knockouts like it is in professional boxing. Some fighters will box their way to decisions, but a lot of the time, if the knockout is there, they will go for it. And in the amateurs, it's not so much about that. So that is what really separates the two sports, because obviously they are still boxing, but it is a different kind of boxing. Obviously point scoring and going in there and trying to knock your opponent out. And I'm not saying the professionals is just about knocking the opponent out. Obviously some fighters will box their way to decisions, and some fighters are skillful enough to fight the full 12 rounds and do so, such as Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, and even Billy Joe Saunders. They have the skill to fight over 12 rounds, not get hit so much, and land clean shots on their opponents to score the points to win the rounds. And that is more what the amateurs is about, scoring points on your opponent and winning the rounds, because you only have 4, so you have to impress in those 4 rounds to sway the judges in your favour. Now, it will be interesting to see what the other governing bodies do about this, because obviously the WBC have made their feelings clear. They do not want professionals fighting in the amateur ranks, and the ramifications are a 2-year ban, it seems. It just will be interesting to see what the other governing bodies are planning to do about this, whether they are happy with fighters in their rankings going back into the Olympics and fighting for their country. Now, personally, I would like to see the both sports remain separate. Amateur boxing is amateur boxing, and pro boxing is pro boxing. They are completely different sports, as we know. So pro boxers should not be allowed to go back into the amateur ranks. because it's great to see all of that young talent coming through, fighting in the Olympics and the World Championships and having their time to shine. Not a professional boxer who maybe has been world champion or well ranked with a governing body, going back into the amateurs and having a second crack at it, because they are fighting amateur fighters. That is a well-seasoned pro, someone who fights for a living, not necessarily someone who has a separate job or is still at school and is fighting on the side. I just think these tournaments such as the Olympics and World Championships are just great for developing young talent and allowing them to shine on a big stage. Because you might have a 17-year-old kid going in there with someone like Andy Ruiz Jr., which is completely unfair and unjust. There's no reason why that should be happening. They should be fighting opponents their similar age and at a similar stage in their career. And as I said, it's a great opportunity for them to shine and win a tournament so big as the Olympics. And when you have pro fighters going back into there, it kind of takes away that part of the sport. The amateur boxing is about the young fighters coming through who are trying to make their name in the sport of boxing. But anyway guys, what are your thoughts on this? The WBC saying that Andy Ruiz Jr. and anyone else who fights in the Olympics will be stricken from their rankings and banned for 2 years. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, click the thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.